During a recent recording of another podcast with my good friend Andrew Durning, he said that I should do The Scorpion King as a video. The films that caused The Scorpion King were the Mummy films, and I thought I could do The Mummy and include The Scorpion King. While on my research about the films, it turns out that there is 5 Scorpion King films. I thought I'll separate them into 2 videos. One with the 3 Mummy films and then one with the 5 Scorpion King films. In 1999, The Mummy was released to high praise. A tremendously well-made film. The acting, the production value of it as well, the CGI, everything for that time was spot on. It was perfection. I can't really say anything bad about the film. It was essentially a reboot of an earlier franchise. It was them going back to 1932 and redoing The Mummy. I mean, there's been Mummy films made on and off since the 30s. The original Mummy had Boris Karloff as Imhotep. From then on in, it was just a plethora of different actors that came in to be the Mummy. Then, in 1999, they decided to reboot it, bring it into the modern era, and it worked very successfully. Then, in 2001, they made The Mummy Returns. Again, the story was great, the acting was great, the film itself was a well-rounded story. One of my pet peeves about this was the CGI involving the Scorpion King. You'd have thought with the amount of success that came from the first one, they could have done a wee bit more. I know it was basically The Rock as a giant scorpion. Spoiler if you haven't seen it. But apart from that bit, there was nothing really bad to be said about the film except that bit of CGI. For a long time after The Mummy Returns, there was talk of the next film coming, that they were going to move away from Egypt, they were going to move away from that scene and bring in other ancient civilizations that they could bring back to life and, torment them with, death to the world. It was 7 years before they made The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I think because it took so long, people weren't as engaged with wanting a third one anymore. I mean, the story itself is a good story, but it's slow to start. So you see what happened to the Dragon Emperor, and then it's 45 minutes into the film before you see him again, and then it's just lots of travelling. There's not much story, it's just we need to get to here, we need to get to there. It didn't do as well as the other 2 previous films. I mean, its budget was round about the same. It made more than what it should have, and I think that because it didn't do as well with the critics as the other 2 films did, as The Scorpion King did, it didn't get a sequel. People put that down to lots of different things. Cast changes. As we know, Rachel Weisz didn't come back and was replaced with Maria Bello. They had aged up their son from the second one. The actor who played the son in the second one could easily have played him again. He was 18. The film itself, for me, it was a bit too slow. The action sequences that were there were very good. The CGI was a lot better. The acting, again, can't fault the acting. They had Jet Li as the Emperor, and they didn't really use him that much. I mean, when you've got somebody like Jet Li, you would have thought you'd want to use them, because the premise of the story is really thought out. It's supposed to be a fantasy action-adventure film. The action-adventure was severely lacking. They decided after 9 years to reboot the franchise with the 2017 Tom Cruise led Mummy, which I haven't watched again. I didn't include that. I'm adding it here at the end because it's a soft reboot of the series, essentially. The Tom Cruise led one did so bad that the entire Dark Universe has been indefinitely put on hold. It strayed away from the Mummy story so much that it just became another Tom Cruise film. Unlike with the Mummy Trilogy, people are always saying, "Oh, it's a Brendan Fraser film." It's not. He is one of the main characters in the ensemble cast. It's an ensemble cast with this film. There is no one set main character, and I think that is why those three films were more successful than the 2017 reboot. There's been talk quite recently about a fourth film with Brendan Fraser, just because of all the great praise that's coming out for Brendan Fraser, and rightly so. I can understand why people are looking to possibly go back to that universe. Personally, I don't think it would be wise to go back. It served its purpose when it was out, and I think going back to something that was so successful, I mean, it would be the Star Wars talk all over again. As much as I would like to see Brendan Fraser in another Mummy film, I don't think it should happen. Until next time, I will be going and watching 5 Scorpion King films in the hopes that they're not terrible. Until next time, bye.